Hi, this is Stan Fitzgerald with Veterans for America First and our partner channel, The Vet Voice. I have with me today my friend and fellow Veterans for America First ambassador, Chris Tremoglie. So, Chris, you're a journalist. Everybody knows who you are. Can you tell people, though, who don't know you about your background and training?
Sure. So I write for the Washington Examiner. I'm a commentary writer for the Washington Examiner. From Philadelphia, graduate University of Pennsylvania. Been writing for several years now. I've been writing for the Examiner since July 2021, and also been in National Review, Daily Caller, Philadelphia Inquirer, numerous outlets. So basically, I get the joy of writing commentary and offering my opinion on various political, geopolitical, policy, foreign events that are going on throughout the country.
And being you write about politics, I would like to talk about two things. One, the border, which you and I were there together,
Mhm.
and two, I think is your favorite politician. So so let's start with the border. I don't think the border gets the proper coverage from the left-wing media with what's going on. What's your take on all that?
Well, it's funny because when we met down in January, early February, we were going to a border event, and I think we've actually been to the border more times than Vice President Harris and President Biden have. And if you listen to them, though, there's no emergency down there. Yet all the reports and data suggest otherwise. There's the highest number of illegal immigrant crossing, record number of drugs, marijuana, fentanyl, all coming across the border that the Biden administration just doesn't really care about. And it's basically, in my opinion, the legacy media is hiding this to kind of basically, I don't want to say like support the Biden because it's hard to support, but basically hide the flaws of the Biden administration's border security policies. And they're doing it because they don't want to lose power. And all this is basically by doing this, it's not giving the proper attention to something that's really harming Americans throughout the country. Whether it's illegal immigrants coming in here, taxpayer money, um, illegal immigrants committing crime, the drugs that are coming in, sex trafficking, human trafficking, so all these things that are a huge threat to our country are being ignored by the Biden administration, the media, left-wing politicos, and pundits. And it's really kind of despicable that they're actually doing it because it's a major issue that impacts all Americans, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of gender, race. Everyone's kind of at risk to all this, and they're just ignoring it like it doesn't happen. And so it's really kind of despicable.
It certainly is, and that is one of our key issues at Veterans for America First. When Chris was at the border, also our national spokesman Admiral Kubik was there, and Admiral Kubik under President Trump built a significant portion of the wall where we were. So at our organization, we also have Tom Holman on our board. So
Mhm.
the border is very important to us, as it is to Chris and most people that have common sense. But moving on, so you and I have a common friend, Lauren Bobart. So
Yes.
I heard recently you got to meet her.
Yes. So I've been, Lauren Boebert doesn't really get a fair opportunity in the media. And she's always, typically, anytime you hear about her, it's in the legacy media. She's being criticized or vilified or, ridiculed or made fun of and never really kind of, talking about her policies or bills that she passed or anything that she does. So I, there are numerous things that she has done that the media kind of created a story on that in my opinion, I thought was not true. So I've written some articles defending her positions on numerous things. And the most recent one this past week or so, I've had two articles explaining why she was the person who should be elected in Colorado's third district. And also, I don't know if you saw, but this past week, I mean, maybe it have been a week ago when Biden said his two words "Made in America" gaffe, and Congresswoman Boebert took to Twitter to kind of make fun of Biden because of that, and it sent left-wing liberal Democratic Twitter up in an uproar because they were basically mocking her while she was mocking President Biden, and they were calling her all the names like stupid or how could you say it's two words because she put two words, let's go Brandon, clearly making fun of two words, made in America. And Twitter just was like, "Oh, you idiot! That's 3 words." Blah blah blah. Basically, everything they should have been saying to President Biden, the entire left was, directing towards Congresswoman BOEBERT, which speaks, basically of the depravity of the people on the left, that they just basically, as much as they are for women's rights and empowering women, they have no problem criticizing a Republican congresswoman for the same exact, not the same exact thing, but the alleged sin that President Biden did. And they didn't say anything about Biden, but they were sure to attack Congresswoman BOEBERT. So I wrote an op-ed basically just pointing this hypocrisy out. And it just kind of goes that show that they're not really, if there's anything that was ever indicative of how the left doesn't give Congresswoman BOEBERT an opportunity, fair shake, or fair representation in the media. There's many examples, but this was just, icing on the cake, that she could say, be called names for, mocking President Biden, but President Biden doesn't get the same kind of treatment from them. So she's up for re-election in November. Is facing a pretty tough campaign, facing a lot of resistance from the Democrats and liberals throughout the country. So there were things that I agreed that she was doing and wanted to just point it out in my op-ed pieces.
And at Veterans for America First, we've endorsed her for re-election.
Exactly.
And I want to point out to our viewers that there's a lot of negative press about her and our military, and it's out of context. It's false. Lauren supports our military. What she didn't vote on was a liberal wish package that they failed to leave out all the items that were in the package that brings her criticism. Our veteran community of 9 million people love her. Admiral Kubik and our board and everybody I talk to with our organization are supporting Lauren and appreciate her, as you see, Chris. Chris, where can people follow your work?
Sure. Can I just go back to talk about Lauren BOEBERT real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Because that was one of the things we actually were talking about when I met her for an interview in her office, is she brought up the exact thing we were talking about, the veterans, how they took a snippet of what she was saying, completely broadcasted out of context, and kind of tried to position her as her not being for the veterans, which is absurd, because that's one of the, pro-life, pro-border security, pro-military, supporting the police. It's all kind of like core tenets of Congresswoman BOEBERT's platform. So it reeks of the desperation that the left is trying to do to try to attack the Congresswoman. So I just wanted to touch on that, because that was a kind of a main thing that actually Mrs. BOEBERT and I were talking about when we met. But as following my work, in the Washington Examiner, you can just search my name, Christopher Tremoglie. You can follow me on Twitter at CWTremo. That's at CWTREMO.
And you could also find Chris's recent articles on our Veterans for America First Facebook page, as he is an ambassador and he shares often. And that does have 310,000 followers, all of whom are very supportive of Lauren BOEBERT. So, Chris, we appreciate your time and look forward to having you on again in the near future.
No problem. Thanks for the invite. Go USA.
Take care now.
All right, take care.